Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my world of Insta conversations. How is everyone? Guys, I'm all set to bring in my friend. I am super excited. She is a person who deals in coaching, and she is someone very special to me. And without any further delay, I'll bring her on and we'll take it from there. She's a wonderful person. She's a beautiful human being, and she is always open and willing to help and to listen. And she's amazing, guys. She really is. Wait till she comes on board and she speaks for herself, and you will see the persona that's around her, and it's amazing. So I am just connecting with her, and we will take it from there. Just inviting her in, and we'll start from there. How's everyone? And I'm just gonna open up the page. Just give me a second. There we go. We're all set, and I'm going to bring her. There we go. Alrighty, guys, we are all set. It says that I cannot send you a request to join. Could you send me a request to join my live stream? Because at my end, it's blocking me from sending you an invite for going live with you. Could you, Shelea, send the request? It will say underneath the chat that you could send me a request to go live with me. When I send the request, it says unable to join. So I think maybe it's your settings that's not giving me the permission to let you, to send you an invite. So you probably, let's see. Just give me a second, guys. Guys, I'm just trying to connect with her. Just give me a second. There we go. Go live. We are connecting with her, and we will take it from there.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry for that. So I was trying to do it from my laptop, but apparently I have some form of safety feature. Apparently it's very safe.
Okay, so before we carry on with our session, I want you to do a introduction, please, for my audience.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Shelea, and I'm a narcissist abuse recovery coach. And so I deal specifically with individuals who have been through abuse, but more specifically, narcissistic abuse. So that's that verbal and emotional abuse, that manipulation and control that doesn't always come with that physical elements of abuse, but is more damaging and more scarring because it messes with us so much mentally and affects our self-esteem and our self-worth and our love for ourselves. And then we can't continue on in life in our confident, best, way because we're so blocked by that psychological abuse. And so I help people overcome that by kind of going back in there, rewiring all of that damage, and then going forward with their best life.
Right. And Guys, she's amazing. Like I said before, if you connect with her, she's the most amazing person on this earth. She makes you feel so
Oh,
good
thank
about
you.
yourself. um, so tell me, why did you partake on this kind of counseling or coaching?
So I myself was in a 15-year-long abusive relationship, a narcissistically abusive relationship. And it
Could
was
you give me a
disordered because of
second?
that.
My son is
Yeah.
screaming. Could you just hold on a second, please?
My kids are in the background too, but I just threatened them with their life when I get on the call. Mom life.
So sorry, my son was screaming.
That's mom life. I said while you were gone, it was like my kids are in the background too. I just threatened them with their life.
He was screaming, and I was like, "What's
So
wrong
I
with
was in a
you?"
15-year narcissistic. Nothing at all.
Nothing,
Like this, my
nothing.
show turned off. Um,
Sorry to
Nothing's
interrupt
wrong
you.
with them. They're just, you get on a call and they're like, ah.
Right.
So yeah, how I came into this was I myself was in a 15-year narcissistic abusive relationship, and had never heard that word and did not know what that was until about year 13, to the end, almost year 14. Our third counselor, and he quit the third time for the third counselor because they can't be wrong. And once he left, she said, "You know what? I'm glad about this. Now we can really get to work with you." And that was the first time I heard. She said, "Shelea, like, this is narcissistic. This is narcissistic abuse." And she sent me all these articles and all of this information about narcissism as a disorder, not the way people throw the term around, but as an actual disorder. And I just wept. It was the first time I knew that it wasn't me and it wasn't my fault and I didn't deserve this. I didn't cause this. I didn't deserve this. And then I was divorced a year later. Yeah, I left him.
Okay. Wow, wow. So please tell me, and I'm confused, is narcissist disorder and having a narcissistic trait two different things?
So that's a really, really good question. So the disorder actually has to be diagnosed, and you have to reach a certain criteria, just like you get diagnosed for bipolar or for borderline personality disorder. There's an actual diagnosis process. There's it's like 6 out of 9 criteria in this process being diagnosed, and it can only be done by a professional. But the traits, and what I like to tell people is, like, for example, if I'm looking at like this pen and you're like, "Oh, are they a narcissist or are they not?" I'm like, well, I don't need anyone to tell me this is a pen. I'm like, I click on this, ink comes out, I write with it. By definition, it's a pen. So whether someone diagnoses this as a pen or not, it doesn't make it not a pen, because that's what it is. And so the confusing part for people is they get really caught up in that, the actual diagnosis, and in just saying, like, hey, even if this person is selfish, unkind, physically abusive to me, rude to me, hurts me, it's still not a healthy relationship. And those are traits of narcissism, but the diagnosis goes into that a little bit more in depth. But a lot of people can be selfish. A lot of people can be unkind, but not everyone can be a narcissist and have this cluster of behavior all at one time. But the bottom line that I tell everybody is, even if they're not dealing with this particular disorder, when someone hurts you, someone is not nice to you, someone makes you feel bad about yourself, they beat you down, they demean you, that's not the place for you. That's not relationship. That's the most important key.
Right, right.
Does that make sense?
You put it so, yes, yes, you put it so beautifully that now it makes sense. I was reading and you said it too, that and I didn't understand what the post was about, so I was like, hey, I will ask you. So thank you for clearing that for me. So tell me, if somebody is in a narcissist relationship, what would you say to them, like, hey, you are in one, so what red flags would you tell them to look out for?
Well, the first thing is, to understand the reason that it is important to try to see if the abuser fits into this category by looking at these different traits that they have. It's because they cannot change. They don't change. There's no documented study of a narcissist changing because they don't think they're wrong. They're never going to think they're wrong. They're never going to see your perspective. They're never going to be like, you know what? I thought about it and I think you're right. I'm totally wrong, but they're not. So that's the number one thing, is to really understand that you have no way out but to get out. And so you have to either accept this is your life. My life will be miserable. My life will be walking on eggshells, never knowing when they're going to explode, fights over just absolutely irrational, ridiculous things. I have to say, if I'm in that relationship, I have to understand this is never going to change. It's a death sentence that I will live just like this until I'm 80 or 90, or until the narcissist has yet another affair or moves on to something more exciting as they see it. Like, you have to understand, if you choose to be in that relationship, you're your only way out. And you are choosing to stay in something awful and hurtful only because you don't feel good enough to move on and move into being by yourself, rediscovering yourself, which is really scary, right? And then taking the risk of, like, can I find love again and find another relationship? What it really comes down to is, for me and for many of my clients, the ideal client that I work with is someone that says, I'm done, and at all costs, I want to move on. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if I live in a box. I don't care if I have no money. I don't care. I know I can't do this. I know I was meant for more, and I know I can't do this anymore. When you're at that place, it's crazy how much strength you have, because then you're ready to move on, and you can move mountains. When that piece of you is triggered, you're like, it doesn't matter. You're ready. So that is the person. It's when you're ready. You've had enough, and you'll do anything. Because when you'll do anything, you'll overcome anything. And that's just how it is.
Right. It makes sense, because I've had so many survivors come on board and discuss it. Just like you said, it was in that moment they decided that I can't deal with this, and everything changed around for the better for them. I saw one post, and I wanted to elaborate a little bit on that, because I know a lot of people on my audience have this mindset that people who end up either in an abusive relationship or either in a narcissist relationship are people who have low self-esteem. I saw your post saying that was incorrect, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere that people who are targeted or become victims or whatever of such abuse are just people who have low self-esteem. So just talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. So, myself included, I was at the top of my game professionally. I'm a registered bachelor's degree nurse. I was working at a level 1 trauma center. I did ER, neuro, ICU. By the outside appearance, I'm very extroverted. I'm always like this. But yet that was going on at home. And so the idea is that it's just people that are like mousy and like have no education, or, have just no, and that's not true. Like, even my clients are therapists and doctors and professional people. Not all of them, but this happens to anyone. And the thing is that a narcissist will come in and an abuser will come in, and you might feel strong and confident when they come into your life, and they're going to build on that. They're going to be like, yes, you're so great. Yes, yes. And they applaud you. But then they start to chip away at you. That's the abusive nature of a narcissist. One day, all of a sudden, it's like, are you wearing that? I mean, probably not your best look. And you're like, ow. Okay, well, maybe it's not my best look. And then you're like, that really hurt. But then you dismiss it. And then it's a little bit at a time. So I guess you can't make dinner at 5:30 when I specifically said 5:30 and it's 5:45. And they just start doing these things, and it's a little bit at a time that starts to beat down that self-esteem and beat down that confidence. So you're going to take another promotion, knowing that we have a family and we have kids at home. Oh God, now I'm a bad mom. and then you believe it. They don't do it like all at once. You know, you're so ungrateful. You're never happy. It's those digs and those comments. Now, it does often happen to people, like certainly a narcissist will identify a victim that is very empathetic, very giving and loving of others, because they're going to use all of that. And emotional abusers, that's what they do. They're like, oh, she's a giver, right? She's a fixer. I'm going to give her more than she can take. They're like, ready to get my fix on. So they do jump into people that are vulnerable. It's not like they don't do both, but there's just an idea that that's the only victims, and that's not true. They're strong, beautiful, confident men and women that someone came into their life. They thought were going to support them. They thought were going to give them that love they hadn't felt before, and then they chip away a little bit at a time. That's why the abuse also is so severe. When someone hits you, there's this expected outcome, right? Like, oh, didn't see that coming. Then you hit me and it hurt. Now I get to process that. And the whole world backs me up and it's like, oh, you were hit in the face. You've got a physical bruise. And then the world supports you. But with narcissistic abuse or emotional verbal abuse, they assault you over and over and over again. And they assault who you are as a person, your character, you as a woman, you as a mother, you as a daughter. They assault that piece of you that is the most fragile piece of you. And then no one stands behind you because there's no physical bruise. And unlike getting punched in the face, where that pain happens and then it's over, that's not how psychological abuse is. The words they say are on repeat over and over and over and over. And it's like getting hit again and again and again and again. That's why it's so severe. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that does make sense. Is it also true that they say women are more victim of narcissism through men than men are through women narcissists?
You know, there's the numbers look like that, but reason, so that just goes back to